Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 24 of Just Jenny Lee. I can't believe it's now 24 episodes, which is really fun. I have so far been filming them on my iPad, and I'm realizing the more I create content, like kind of how crappy the quality is. And so I was like, gosh, the new phone is really the best thing to use. But honestly, it's the backside camera on the back of the phone that is the best thing to use. So today is the first day I'm not only recording it on my phone, which I did the other day as well in the fiber arts room, but I use the front side of my phone. So today I'm going to try the back. So it's kind of weird to look at the back of my phone instead of at myself, but I'm going to try it today and see how it goes. So today's topic is perfectly suited to what I need to do. This painting, I said that it was never quite, well, the title's never quite done, and I dated it in for 2023. So that means at some point I pulled the tape on this in 2023 and felt like, okay, that's obviously finished. There's really not much more I could do. But there were touch-ups that needed to be done, really, for me to feel comfortable with it. And I never did them because I'm scatterbrained sometimes, or I get off onto a new project and I get off onto a new tangent and I won't quite complete what I need to complete. So like the edges are kind of ugly because I've had it hanging in my house, right? Even though I'm very careful with sealing my tape with every single layer, there's a little bit of bleed through, and who knows if I even have these colors anymore or anything remotely close to them. And there's just little areas where I need to like actually maybe cut where it's not, it didn't pull up cleanly. There's only a few places, but I've got a bunch of different cutting tools. I've got my frog tape and my white paint so I can clean the edge. And then I've got these. But as I've been rescuing these paintings, a saying that my husband loves to say all the time is coming to mind, like repeatedly, like beating into my head over and over again. And there's so much wisdom in it, honestly, but he kind of says it flippantly. So then I don't really take it as seriously as I should, which is not a good thing. Entropy. Things ain't what they used to be. And it's kind of a funny joke that, that we had when we were on job sites. You'd want to get things done as quickly as possible, not just for the sake of like getting paid to, do the work and getting out of there as quickly as you can, but also because over time, the longer that you're on a job site, it like falls prey to entropy. And what is entropy? Basically, it's that things kind of left into, the state of just not being maintained and not being kept up, things being left to what they are over time, eventually just deteriorate. And we saw that like time and time again on the job sites. It was actually really funny because we would kind of kick ourselves and be like, oh man, because like, you might finish something and feel like you could kind of walk away from it, but you have other things you're trying to do, and so then something happens with the first one, and now you have to go in and fix it, because even though it might have been the client's fault, technically you weren't done in the area, and now you got to go back and you've got to actually do the repair because technically they hadn't signed off on that area yet. So like that would happen all the time, especially if you're working in people's houses, they have kids, they have animals. It's like, oh, they accidentally dinged this up, and you're like, So, this was something that we ran into on a regular basis on the job site. Well, as I am doing all of these rescue and repair missions, I'm trying to get this lined up to be the same on all the edges around. I want to save like some of the wrap around, but have some of it be white so it's like cleaned up. I don't know. It's going to be a half and half job here. No, well, not half. I'm going to save just a small edge of the color that wrapped around and then make the rest clean and white so it's not like all like this. Although I love the artist's hand in artwork. I think it adds I think it adds an element of beauty that is just unique to being a human being. But anyways, that being said, my artwork is prone to the same concept of entropy. Things aren't what they used to be. And I feel like that's for more than just my artwork. I've like regretfully gone in now and tried to pick up some paintings, and maybe the masking fluid is like permanently forever adhered to the surface of the paper, because the paper is cotton and the masking fluid is like an adhesive essentially. And it's only supposed to be on there in the short term, like days, not weeks, not months. And in my case, years at times. There's something that's so satisfying about starting something new, that it almost like takes over the satisfaction that I can get from finishing something I'm currently doing. But this year, I'm trying to take something that has become really rewarding for me in crochet, which is finishing a piece. I know I like joke because I have so many pieces still going, but a lot of those are older pieces, and I don't even know if I could even pick them up and do them. So that's questionable, because your crochet like muscle memory or whatever, it sort of changes and evolves over time, and believe it or not, it's like actually physically exerting. So after a couple of years of doing it regularly, even my muscles have adapted to doing it, and so my work now does look different than my work then, and my approach is different. I have different techniques that, you know, and color changing and whatever, you know, tension, keeping my tension even and not screwed up, all that stuff. I'm just trying to push this down as hard as I can because I can't seal it really. There's no way to do it on this without painting on the other side. So the problem with some of my older crochet projects that may be like 4 or 5 years old, I might not be able to really even pick them up again. This painting being 3 years old, it's tough. It's tough because I'm going to try to salvage it, and it will be what it is. And I will still photograph it, and I will still reproduce it, and it will be fine. Because if you look closely at all artists' artwork, if it's not digital anyways, in our digital age, I do not create digital artwork. I don't know that I ever will. I don't want to say I never will, because it's never's a big word. You know what I mean? But it's not in my heart to do it. And the reason why is because there's a way to basically erase the artist's hand in digital artwork that you can't do in real, tangible, physical artwork. And there's just something to me about artwork that's very tactile, that looking on a screen, on a surface that is clearly barely even 2-dimensional, let alone 3-dimensional, that just doesn't appeal to me. So anyways, that being said, these paintings that I am picking up and trying to revive, it's questionable whether I can revive them. And that is the same thing for anything, right? So I haven't sat down and played the piano in a bit just because I had taken some time off. But now we're having a musical Monday tonight with friends, and I have not practiced. And I was questioning, okay, should I get in there right now and practice right before we go? Right before we meet up with them, so that I have, like, you know, I don't seem completely rusty. And I will probably get in there later on this afternoon, just so I can just, like, you know, get my fingers acclimated to being on the keys instead of like holding a paintbrush or a crochet hook. Because what will happen is I will sort of like degrade and lose what I had. I think that's the case for anything. I was doing my workout this morning, and I have been really faithful about doing this little, it's not anything super challenging, although my husband says it kicks his butt. I don't know. I think he's just trying to humor me. So I find that when I do it every single day, and it's like, I don't know, 15 minutes long, it's a little calisthenics, weightlifting. It's nothing that impressive. Okay. But I find that when I do it every single day, I can actually, overcome the fact that it makes my body somewhat uncomfortable to do it, and use it to help me with anxiety. But if I don't do it nearly every single day, what happens is, if I'm having anxiety, my body knows that it's kind of tiring to do that workout, so I won't feel like it. However, when I do it every day, my body is like, yeah, let's do this, because it's not overcoming the hurdle of dealing with my body being like, wait, what? I don't do this. So it becomes a tool. My consistency, I'm learning, whether I'm posting or painting or exercising or bulk cooking for my husband's large appetite and big lunches, I find that the consistency, although it feels like a tedious habit initially to keep up with, it helps me in the long term to achieve balance. Like, that's just me. You know, when I'm on here talking about what I'm talking about, I'm just telling you like my life and what I'm living through, and other people's experiences may be completely different, which I get. Like, that's cool. My experience for me is not to be like in a state of bondage over something, but to be able to have like a baseline. And it doesn't mean that I'm destroyed if I don't hit my routine that day. Sunday, I woke up like with the worst vertigo. I didn't even know if I was going to make it to church. That car ride was like so overwhelming to me. In fact, when we got there, I could have like kissed the ground. I felt so grateful to be alive. But that being said, when I first got up, I did not feel like I could do a workout. I was barely able to crawl in the tub and drag us there in time to like get the last bit of announcements before we started the worship service. So I was like really not doing well. And I didn't want to like miss my day, but I didn't want to be incomplete, you know, oh, well, I have to be late because I have to do this thing, right? So I don't want to be in bondage to routine, but at the same time, I want the routine to be helpful. And so that was yesterday. And honestly, I just had a lot going on yesterday. I had dropped off the cape that I had sewn, and I was trying to create some Canva content for Hope for a Woman's Heart. And I was just feeling stressed out because the computer keeps freezing up every 5 minutes on me, and we need to do something about it. But I lost a big spreadsheet that I relied on for my artwork, and I was just having a really hard time. So the afternoon was stressful for me, and I was struggling to pull myself together. I really was. My husband, he was amazing. He kind of walked me through the afternoon and kept me fed and entertained, and worked on the stuff he was trying to work on in the office while being kind and supportive. Because as I was walking out the door from church, they handed me 15 feet of fabric and said, "Can you cut this and sew this and do that?" And I was like, I have other stuff I have to do today. I thought I was done. But it was fine because it was fine. It was just like, I was a little bit like, what? Because you need it by 5 o'clock today? Like, I can't deliver it by next weekend? So that was the little bit of consternation. So anyways, after I wrapped up the sewing of the very large sheet of fabric and the Canva documents that I was trying to hurry up and deliver to the people who needed them, I don't know, it was like 7 o'clock. So I went on to a live stream and did some earrings, because that's another area where entropy had attacked me this last year or two, where I would do pattern tests for people and make earrings. And sometimes I would make a full pair, and other times I would just make one, and I would like do the photo shoot of the one side of my face and show that off, and that I would turn that in. So then I found out, when I was cleaning the fiber arts room, again, the entropy had attacked me there. When I was cleaning the fiber arts room, I had found this tray, basically, and I think there were like 15 earrings there that didn't have a partner that I couldn't wear. And now that I'm doing the live streams all the time and recording content, I really like wearing the earrings. I don't really wear them any other time because it's just too much, but sometimes to church or to events or whatever. But for the most part, I like wearing them when I'm doing content. And so I was like, oh man, there's like 15 more pairs here. But the problem is some of them I made up as many as but the problem is that some of them were made like 2 years ago. And believe it or not, a tiny switch up in hook size will make a very different earring size. And just a switch up in your tension will make a different earring size. So I have to figure out the yarn. There's like 4 or 5 different patterns, probably, maybe 6 that I was following up there. And so I need to find the pattern. I need to find the thread I was using to crochet the earrings. And then on top of that, I have to find the beads that I was using, because I put beads on all of them. So I pre-planned the beads. So assuming, well, I'll figure out what beads those are down the road. And on top of that, I still have to figure out, is it a size 1mm hook? Is it a 2mm? It is a 1.25. Is it a 0.75? And if your tension's slightly off, you might not know. So I want to be a little bit more careful to like slow down at the end of a project, of a process. I make a pair of earrings. I need to sit there for 20 more minutes. We timed on a live stream the other night, 20 minutes. I had the second earring completely made. That's it. I don't know how long exactly it will take me to wrap up this little painting here, but it's not going to take that long, and it would have been a lot better to do it when I had all the paint, like already knowing what paint colors I had. So like right now I'm going to be guessing. So I am really trying hard this year to stop making myself a victim of entropy. It's real easy to like play the victim, but in reality, I am generally speaking just a victim of myself. I have been a victim of other people, but I can't do anything about that. And it kind of causes me sometimes to almost victimize myself. And that is a terrible habit that I'm working really hard at finishing, ending. No more of that in 2026. I thought 2025 was going to be a great year, and I really struggled. So no more. Entropy can experience entropy this year, and it can go by the wayside while my husband and I pick up the pieces and figure out how to give the studio a real go. So thank you to William for your wisdom. You are so right. Entropy, things ain't what they used to be. It's been obvious for years to us on the job site. It's obvious to me in the fiber arts studio. It's obvious to me in the fine arts studio. It's obvious to me in life in general. And I really appreciate the perspective. I'm not ashamed to steal other people's good opinions, advice, and perspective. Wisdom is all around us. And if it bears fruit, then it's good wisdom worth having. So that's wisdom that bears fruit. It bears a whole crop of fruit, a whole orchard full. And I want to live according to fruit this year, more than feelings, and even more than facts, because even facts can be misconstrued. But fruit is my litmus test for 2026. So if you like this content, I would really love to have you be a part of my journey. You hit the like and subscribe, leave a comment. It really helps the algorithm. And I will catch you in the next video.